In today's episode of the Pathfind Presents podcast, I have an interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Logan Pence, who's heading over from MD Internet Marketing. And, we've had a lot of interesting guests here on the show from very different industries. And today we talk another new interesting industry that he's bringing to the table. The business is focused to deliver plastic surgeons and surgery practices with strong digital presence and online marketing. So we're very curious to learn how Logan thinks about the digital growth in that industry. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Very good. Just maybe tell us a little bit about it. What is MD Marketing all about?
Well, MD Internet Marketing has been in business for a little over 8 years now, and we're really focused on helping plastic surgery practices find and bridge the gap between their marketing vendors and digital marketing opportunities that are available, whether that's optimizing their website or getting more reviews or posting on social media and taking advantage of the different aspects of the social media platforms. We really try to help bring the practices along the digital journey, which also helps impact their patients and make everyone a winner in the process. Really, the idea is to make the vendor, whether that is the digital marketing agency that they're working with, or Google or Facebook, we want to make those products win as well as the client win. And really, MD Internet Marketing will win if everyone is benefiting to the maximum of taking advantage of the opportunities that are available. So we really help to try to use the tools, help the practices use the tools that are available out there today.
Yeah, makes a whole lot of sense. Like, who would typically be sort of in those practices the driver for innovation? Like, is that like actually the owners? Is that, I mean, the doctors probably are not so much deep in the online marketing world. Like, who's reaching out to you essentially?
Well, that's a great question. It really is actually the owner trying to balance that marketing or business growth of their practice. Sometimes they have other individuals within the practice, maybe an office manager. If they're lucky, they might have a digital marketing person within their practice. But in terms of someone that's like driving high level strategic planning and trying to figure out what we're going to do next, or negotiating with vendors and having an in-depth knowledge of what's going on within the industry at any certain time, whether or not that's the new Google page experience updates that are coming out right now, or whatever may be taking place in the industry. Because we have access to a variety of different clients in a variety of different markets, we're able to share that information with our clients and try to stay ahead of the ongoing evolution that is digital marketing as things continuously change on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, super interesting. Um, I mean, you're very deep into that for sure. Like in those practices, what do you feel are the channels that they're maybe neglecting a little bit, but should be actually focusing on because you see that there's so much opportunity for them, but maybe, they haven't quite caught up yet to those opportunities.
I think there's really two aspects. One is reviews and reputation management. I think practices have a huge opportunity to get more reviews. Some doctors have a little bit of fear about whether, they want to get people to get reviews, or whether or not that the person will put a review because their name is going to be on that. Where others are like bought into it and it's like a part of the process, and they want to make sure that we're telling that clients are telling them, or doctors are telling the patients about the reviews throughout the entire patient journey and not just necessarily like on the back end. So having a review strategy and acquiring reviews is definitely one opportunity. And the other opportunity, I think, is education on social media. These are plastic surgeons and doctors that I work with. So whatever they say has a lot of clout and a lot of power to it. And I think they have a lot of opportunity to put themselves out there on camera and just explain whatever it is that they want to sell. I talk about, cranking up the propaganda machine. They're like, I want to do more of this. I'm like, let's make a video of you talking about whatever that is. We can make 10 videos about you talking about this and share that content and repurpose that content. But whatever it is that they want to educate about, because they're plastic surgeon, board certified plastic surgeon, doctor, they immediately, their content goes farther than anything that any smoke could potentially make.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's super interesting. What I would be curious though, the website, right, of those practices, like what role do you think do they actually play, and maybe what role should they be playing for those practices? Because yeah, I mean, what have you seen there? You know, are those websites optimized already for what they can be actually delivering to the practices? Is there a lot of room? You know, what's the situation that you typically encounter?
Within the industry, I mean, there's obviously a lot of variety. I think, like within any other industry, where there's some people that are invested into optimization, have a agency that they're working with. Others, it's not that important to them. They're focused on something else.
Mhm.
They may not need optimization. They could be insurance based, or some other kind of specialty where SEO or uh, you know branding may not be as important. I talked to a cardiologist not too long ago that they're like, we're super busy, but our website was built in 1990, and like we just want to bring our brand like up
Gotcha.
to current level. The clients that I work with, they all have a different agency where we're focused on making sure that that agency is delivering on-site optimization, off-site optimization, the website's hitting nice test scores and different things that are available out there. There's no broken links, a lot of
Mhm.
basic stuff, but we provide an extra level of support and checking, and we're pushing the vendors to actually do the things that they should be doing, because the squeaky wheel definitely gets the oil. And no doubt about it, if you are paying an agency and you don't talk to that agency, you don't tell them stuff to do, you don't poke them, they will forget about you. Okay, a silent client is a happy client. Okay,
Mhm.
according to the vendor. I don't think that's the case, because I really want to increase the communication, because if no one's talking, we're definitely not even close to getting the maximum opportunity of what could be going on, because things are happening in the offices, things are happening in the agencies, and it's important that the information is getting passed and that people are uh, moving and like doing stuff, because they sometimes they actually won't do anything unless you poke them a little bit.
Makes sense. Actually, that leads me to my next question. Within that industry, because you were speaking about the poking, right? You have to obviously also push those companies to move on certain layers of marketing. I would be curious, what do you find to be sort of the challenge when it comes to bringing in innovation into those establishments that you're kind of working with?
I think, some of these doctors are maybe like, this is the way that we've been doing things for a long time. So I'm not too interested in changing it. Although COVID, obviously pushed a lot of the stuff digitally forward. A lot of digital paperwork went into effect quickly, where you can fill out paperwork online, you can book an appointment online, um, different things of that nature. But a lot of doctors have realized that you have to change. Okay, you can't just do things the way you've been doing it over and over again, because there's younger doctors who are coming out, and they're using the new product. They're on Instagram posting 25 times a day, uh, you know the entire case, answering questions themselves. Whereas some of the older doctors are like, I don't even have the Instagram app, and I don't want to get it either. So
Right.
uh, but at the same time, they know that they have to be on Instagram, so they're hiring another company to make sure that they're posting on Instagram, or they have an employee internally that's taking video of them, that's then they're able to share stuff on social media or what it's not. So uh, although some of them have been resistant to change, the ones who have adopted, the ones who are on TikTok and are putting themselves out there and educating people, they're getting clients. They're taking market share.
Makes a whole lot of sense. Super interesting dynamic. Um, does the topic of conversion optimization, right? Obviously, here in the Pathway Presents podcast, we talk a lot about conversion optimization. It's been part of many conversations, and what has been clearly showing is that the topic has gone through different industries in different levels of intensity, right? In the software as a service space, like it's a high level focus, right? A lot of companies try to generate more from what they have on their pages. What about the industry that you are in? Is that like a topic? Do people talk about, okay, we have people coming, but they're not signing up, or like is conversion optimization already sort of triggered into the plastic surgery industry?
I would say with the leading practices, certainly they're looking at different aspects of conversion optimization. Uh, Most likely deeper down the funnel, maybe how many consultations did we book? If 100 people came into the office, how many of them actually had surgery? Certainly
Mhm.
that's an important number for the practice.
Mhm.
How many conversions the website received overall is
Mhm.
important. But in terms of overall conversions, all the offices leave a ton of money and a ton of leads on the table. Because if you get 100 people contacting you, I mean, you'd be lucky if like 30 or 40 showed up. And then if you
Mhm.
guys are doing really good, you'd be lucky to book, 60 to 80% of them. And that would be if you're doing like really good. So, uh, all the offices have thousands of prospects in their database,
Mhm. Mhm.
unconverted people. Um,
Interesting.
and that's people who have actually like contacted the office. There's hundreds of thousands of people who have hit the website. All
And
the
then
websites are getting thousands of visits every month, and the practices are only getting hundreds of leads every month.
interesting dynamic. Super, super interesting. So it seems might be becoming more of a growing topic in that industry. So let's switch gears as we slowly coming sort of to an end of the interview. I want to learn a little bit more about yourself and your journey as to how you gotten where you're today. For that, we have like a sort of rapid fire questions to wrap up the interview. Are you ready for those?
Sure.
Cool. What's the last book that you read?
Good to great. I just reread
Very,
it.
very good. What's the one single thing your company is focused on the most at the moment?
The Google page experience updates. We got a lot of web design things that are going on in order to make sure that we're ahead of the game and that the scores are testing high.
Mhm. If there would be no boundaries in technology, what's the one thing you want to have fixed for your role today?
Email.
I like it. Back to the basics. Um, what's the last thing that kept you awake at night about the company?
Nothing. I don't really. I don't think there's anything.
Very good, cool. And I know you've been, many years with and on MD marketing, and I would be very curious, right? If you would sort of like, put yourself back, what is it, more than 8 years, from what I can tell, at least. If you would be zooming back to that very first day that you started working on MD marketing, what's the one advice that you would give yourself?
Probably to raise the bar a little bit.
Mhm.
I wanted to start this company as kind of like a side hustle, and it continues to grow into a real company. Um, and I think, the only limits that you have are the ones that you kind of set on yourself. And, you know, raising the bar and kind of setting the limits higher earlier uh, would have been a great thing to tell myself.
Very good advice. So, Logan, I really appreciate that you took the time to be a guest on Pathway Presents. I want to give you the very last word, right? If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about MD marketing, what's the one thing that they should remember?
Um, just that MD Internet Marketing really provides practice growth, and we really drive results through year over year double-digit growth for our practices. We really help to make sure that we are the leading uh, agency within the market in order to help the practices get the most out of their marketing opportunities.
Very cool. Thanks for being a guest on Pathway Presents.
All right, thank you so much.